I'll probably go for masters, or I will go find a job in Nigeria. Mommy, and he was like, well, if you're interested in school, I have
Don't go fast now, so that we look forward a bit. We don't pass it.
Okay, Mrs. Deborah Edem, are you still with us?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
All right, I apologize for that. So where I'm not sure where you heard me last, but I will just take a few steps back. So once I graduated school, I met someone who introduced me to a brother of his in the US that runs a private education consulting business. So what he does is help connect students with universities in the US here that offers scholarships. So he helps with the application process. So I sat on that information a little bit, and I spoke to my brother about it, and I told him, this is what I found out. And he said, well, you do whatever you want to do. I said, cool. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and pursue my master's program. So then I reached out to the guy and told him what I wanted to study. I did biomedical engineering and said I wanted a program. Mommy, I wanted a program. Say hi, Grandpa.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, I think she's still having challenges with dealing with her son who needs attention.
Where's my bag? I would.
Deborah, are you okay to continue?
Yes, I'm okay to continue.
All right then.
Mommy. This was not part of the plan today, I promise you guys, because these children are driving me crazy. So I made contact with the guy, and then we started working on what I wanted to do. I told him I wanted US specifically, and I wanted any program in engineering. And so he helped with the application process, and I got admission into one of the schools here. So once he did that, that was it. Every other thing I had to do by myself. So I had to research the school, see the kind of scholarship they were offering. And I found that they have a merit scholarship that is based on your GPA. And I graduated with a second class upper division, and I qualified for a merit scholarship that was 50% of the tuition fee. So the tuition fee at the time to do the master's that I wanted to do in the US was about $36,000. So for the whole program, and the merit scholarship was to cover half of that, which was not bad at the time because dollar was not as high. I'm talking about 2013, 2014. And so I accepted the scholarship, which helped. Even though it was not a full one, the partial one helped, and I will get to how it helped. So once I got the scholarship, I started processing my visa. I did all the research, went on the US visa requirement online, and see what was needed to get an F1 visa. I started gathering all my things. I had to go get a new passport. Again, I learned how to do things for myself right from onset. I always just find the roadmap to get to where I need to be. And so I started pursuing all those things for myself just by getting information online and doing what I needed to do. And that's half scholarship really played a role in my visa, this thing. Once I went for a visa interview, they saw that I was going to study engineering, and I also had a scholarship that covered at least half of the tuition, which was good. So, and I don't think any immigration, any of the people at the embassy would be that mean to deny someone if they see that you have a head start at the very least. But I got my visa and I came here. So once I got here, I integrated pretty quickly with the international student body, and I was told that I can get a full scholarship. I was like, bet. So I aligned myself with another Nigerian that was here. He was Yoruba, like others have mentioned. It's hard to find anybody who is from Calabar. And he told me, you can get a tuition scholarship. I said, okay, what do I need to do? So he said, you have to go sell yourself to the department chair. So I went, I spoke to the department chair, the engineering technology department chair. I told him I just got into the country. This was what I studied in Ghana. And I had 5 minutes to give my spiel. And he was like, oh, okay, lucky for you, even if you're a little late, because I went like 2 days before classes started. And he was like, okay, lucky for you, I have one spot left. And because you have so much tenacity, I'm just gonna give it to you. And that was it. And I got a full tuition scholarship for that first year. For the first year of my master's, I had to cover other expenses like living, like accommodation and other things, but my tuition was fully covered. And on my second year of my master's, they have opportunities in school that you can apply for something they call graduate assistantship. So graduate assistantship, you can get it with any department if they are open to taking other student that is not in their faculty. Some departments are very stringent on who they give it to. It has to be that you are doing the program they are offering the scholarship on, but some were open. And so I got a scholarship with the school housing department as a resident director, and they covered all my tuition. They gave me stipend, they gave me a place to stay. So, but it doesn't come like that with every job you get, but those jobs are there for graduate students where you can get your tuition fully covered, you can get monthly stipend, and all you have to do is just take care of a bachelor's degree student or help with grading, help with teaching and all that stuff like that. And for that, you have to work 20 hours per month as allowed by the government and all that. And for the tuition scholarship I got on my first year, you are allowed to, since I was in engineering lab, I had to work in the engineering lab for 10 hours a week, but I wasn't getting paid, but I have to do something in turn for the visa, for the tuition assistance. I graduated there, and then I eventually joined the army, which is a different story completely. But I joined the army, and then when I went to get my second master's, the army paid for it because they have academic scholarship. It's not really a scholarship, it's like a funding they give to every soldier, that you have it there, you can use it to do whatever you want to do, PhD, masters and all that. It's more like an incentive for joining the army. So I used that to pay for my second master's that I got in cybersecurity technology. And even the PhD I'm doing now, I'm still using that funding that the army gave, and I still have some money left there that I can use. So that is my academic journey so far. I'll probably finish the PhD. I won't have to pay for anything at all. But if at all, I did not have to go through the army I did not have the army fund to pursue further education. There are lots of PhD funding, especially in the US here. Only 1% of Americans are PhD holders. So there's so much opportunity here within schools for people. It's just that a lot of people don't know these things are there. You have to take the initiative to go out and make the research and find the necessary information. Even if someone points you to it, you have to like take the compass and find your way to the thing. There are lots of schools here, even where I'm at right now. I'm still in the military city because once I left active duty, I stayed where I was. There's a university here, and there was a time I heard they had a lot of influx of international students that came here, and they were giving out a lot of scholarship for people that were studying maths and all that. And the school that I went to is still in preparation for this meeting, I went online to see, I went back to the school website to see everything that is still going on, to see what has changed. They have some changes, but they still have those scholarships, those pathway to going to school tuition free that have not really changed. Things are still there. They still offer tuition scholarship. They still offer graduate assistantship. They are still scholarship, merit-based scholarship that you get depending on your CGPA. And for PhD program, there are schools here that do like full funding. I am not a full-bodied research student. I'm not, when I'm presented between research and doing a technical project, I always choose the technical project. From my bachelor's, that's what I've done. My master's, the two of them, I always choose a technical project as opposed to research. So you necessarily don't have to be like 100% theoretical research student. You can be a technical researcher too, or a project-based academia and still get those opportunities as well too. And if you try everything that is presented to you, because if a window of opportunity is open to you, you have to, it's incumbent upon you to find a way to squeeze yourself in there and get to where you need to get to. Because if you're waiting for a white dot to open, it might not happen. So it's through information like this. Someone gave me information and I took it and I ran with it. So when you get information like this, pick what you can pick and then run with what you want to run with, and run with it full speed. Don't look back. I did not finish my NYC when I left Nigeria because I've already analyzed the situation. I've always wanted to school abroad. That's the reason I did not school in Nigeria, because I did not want to deal with the bribing system and exchanging hand. I did that for 1 year in a private university, and because I did not have money, or I refused to give money, the guy failed me, and I was like, no, this cannot be it. So I went to Ghana. And so you have to, from early onset, decide how you want your path to be, especially academically, like what Mr. Wilfred said about what he said about having the motivation. You have to have the motivation. You have to, school is still it. Forget what people are telling you. Education pathway can take you to a lot of places, because you know what? Out here, a lot of their people are not doing it. They're not doing it. So Nigeria and Africa, we have that educational foundation that we can use at advantage to explore the world and see what's going on out there, to see what's going on out there. And again, you necessarily don't have to be like full-blown academia to get this opportunity. There are other ways. You can just be great at building things and it will get you to where you need to be. So that's my story, and I'm going to stop talking now. Sorry, guys, again, for my son trying to get my attention. That's what they do. These boys, they're up under my skin every time.
All right. Thank you very much, Deborah, for that very interesting story. I must inform our participants, those on the call, that the stories you're going to be hearing are distinctively unique. So that's why it's important for us to stay on, because the story of the first panelist is quite different from that of the second. We're going to pick one or two from each person and see how to build from there. But what is the common factor in both stories is the fact that they prepared themselves, right? Dr. Aka Augustine talked about preparing himself from undergraduate, and now Mrs. Deborah Edem has also stated that when she got the information, it aligned with the fact that she was well prepared because her results and her grades were okay to apply for the opportunity which she was asked to apply for. So let's not leave that out of our preparations. Okay, I'll quickly move to the next panelist, Mr. Tom Smith Unimike, I think. Unimike. So, Mr. Tom Smith, please share your story.
I'm switching up. Okay. Yeah. Once again, good afternoon to you all. So my name is Tom Smith. Like I had introduced myself earlier on. Okay. So I'm here in Australia doing a PhD in chemical engineering at the University of Sydney. My story started far back as 2019. So mine is a big different from what you've heard so far. I graduated quite young, so I went for my service in 2018. Yeah. And then I passed out of service in 2019. And because I was still very young, my parents didn't even want me to go back home. So they're like, okay, as soon as you finish, you're just going to start your master's. So when I finished my NYC, my master's admission was already waiting for me to begin a master's program in Unical as well. So I immediately started. So when I started that, that's when I had the opportunity to get to know that, okay, people were actually moving out, because I had my lecturers in the university who had left the country. Two of my lecturers, Dr. Ozioma, he left that very year. I think I was still in my final year. So he left the country. And also another lecturer who left. I'm like, oh yeah, so it's possible for people to actually leave the country with their families on scholarship. Yeah, so that's how I got to know that, okay, there are opportunities out there that you can actually explore. So I started aligning myself with, okay, what can I possibly do to also get a scholarship as well? So I started applying. In fact, my first application, it was chaotic in the sense that I submitted application, and instead of the school telling me, okay, you're not qualified for this, or we can't give you admission, they rather said, okay, please, can you come and explain why you even applied to this program? Because we didn't even expect you to apply. Like, it was embarrassing and also insulting somehow. But then I took that as, okay, it shows that there are some things that I wasn't doing very well, or there are some things that I needed to improve. So I started working on myself, building my CV. And then I got connected with, okay, what exactly does these people have? What do they have that actually gave them scholarship? What do they need to do? Was it just their CGPAs? Then I realized that no, it wasn't just about the CG, because I came to realize even people who had first class were not also able to get scholarships. And then there were also people who didn't even have a first class, but then got a scholarship. And I was like, wait, how is this working? So it's not just about your CGPA, it's about other things that you need to do. And every scholarship is unique. It has its own, like every scholarship has what they're looking for. So there are scholarships that are looking for people with leadership potential. There's scholarships that are looking for people with academia who have research potential. There are scholarships that are looking for one or two things. So you need to align yourself with what the scholarship actually wants, and then you can fit in properly. So when there is proper alignment with what a specific scholarship is looking for, they will definitely give it to you. Then I'm like, okay, so this is it. That's when I started. So since 2019, 2020, 2021, until when I finished my master's, I wasn't doing any other thing other than doing what would make my CV competitive such that I can also get a scholarship. So at this point, I would say you are as powerful as the information you have access to. So if you have access to people and you have access to information, it empowers you. So I was empowered through Mr. Lewis, who is also Professor Wilfred's collaborator. I came to know Wilfred through Lewis because we're working together in a research facility. So I joined a research facility wherein I began to build my skills on research. And I would say that I came to Australia. I received the RTP scholarship from Australia to come here. That's like the most prestigious scholarship in Australia. And it's purely based on your research potential and what you have done to show that you have the potential to conduct research in Australia. So that is how I got the scholarship to campus. But it happened all with the combination of me coming to know Lewis and Lewis knowing Professor Wilfred. So we started working by writing research papers, research proposal, writing reviews, and getting publications to boost your CV. Because when I first applied for my CV for my scholarship, my CV was purely empty. I never had anything like a publication. I never had anything like, my CGPA was okay. I graduated with a second class upper, so it wasn't a problem. But then I didn't have other things. I wasn't even a leader in anywhere. Then I came to realize that, okay, look, you need to also be a leader. You need to show that you have done something outside of academia. You have probably volunteered somewhere. You have maybe, served as a president or something. It also matters. It also counts. And there's scholarship that will award you based on what you have done for maybe a community development or a project or something, right? So you need to strategically position yourself in all of these things. So through my various research experiences that I had so far, I was able to get good publications. And this is where I would also want to emphasize that if you are still in school, I would advise, try to work with your lecturers, try to work with the people who teach you, right? Don't just think that their research is only for people in academia. No, that's your involvement in their research can open a door that you would not even expect. Like myself, for instance, I cannot say without my involvement in research, I would be in Australia today. No, Australia wouldn't have given me what they have given me so much if I didn't have what to show that I can actually conduct quality research, right? And all of this came through my involvement with my lecturers. So I worked closely with the lecturers, assisted them. I wasn't paid for it, so I was doing it free, okay? And I was very happy to do it. I would help them write, I would help them learn how to write introductions, write projects for people and all of that. And that is how I got to, familiarize myself with the ethics of research and what it takes to actually conduct quality research. And that is what gave me advantage in my applications. So there are scholarship out here. Trust me, there are scholarship out here. Numerous scholarship for every single thing you can think of. There are scholarships for you. But then you need to get the information and you need to prove that, okay, if this opportunity is given to me, I'm going to be able to defend it. I'm going to be able to prove that I know what I'm doing, right? Because even though the universities have the funding, they're not just going to give it to you because you need it. No, they're going to give it to the person who has proven to them that if I give you this thing, you can make good and quality use of it. Okay, so that is how it is. So for the little advice I would say is wherever stage you are, it's not too late. It's never too late for you to start school. Schooling is, there is nothing like I'm too old or I'm too young for a school. I'm very young for a PhD, actually, even here in Australia, I think I'm one of the youngest people here on PhDs here on campus, right? But age is not, it's not a number. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're young or you're old. Okay, you can start building from wherever you are. First of all, you need to build your CV. You need to make it competitive. You need to start strategically planning yourself in terms of what you do, right? Everything counts. What you do in school counts. Your CGPA counts. Your involvement in school politics or things like that, they also count where you have demonstrated some potential as a leader. If you have opportunities to volunteer, to contribute, like for instance, the United Nations is granting scholarship to people based on the ability to foster or promote the goals of sustainability. Probably environmental remediations, you are maybe organizing cleanup or where you're planting trees or doing one or two things like that, right? There are scholarships for people who are even doing that. So you can now begin to align yourself or see how you can key into whatever is going to work for you to give you your own opportunity, because one door that is being opened to you will open numerous doors to you. And trust me, education is the fastest and the easiest way to open so many doors that without it, it won't even open for you. Okay, so it's very easy for you to come abroad through education pathway than any other pathway out there. Okay, so that's my little story, I would say. Yeah, I think if there are other questions, I'm going to answer later on during the discussion sessions. Let me not take much time. So thank you very much for listening.
Okay, that's another interesting story. Thank you, Tom Smith, for sharing that story. Yes, it's another deviation from the first and second story, and it's quite a lot to learn from what he has just presented. He has opened our eyes to the fact that it's not all about your TGPA. You should develop yourself in other areas. Okay, there are specific scholarships, although most of the scholarships are merit-based towards academics. There are others that are towards your leadership potential and your organizational skills and all of this. So first, you need to ask yourself, what can you offer? Because the opportunities are there. What can you offer? If you can answer that very well, then you are ready. If you cannot answer that, then you need to start preparing yourself. Okay, so thank you very much, Tom Smith, for that very rich presentation. I would move to Ms. Dollars Ita. I can see you're here on the platform now. I'm hoping that you are able to speak now. Ms. Dollars Ita, can you hear us? Unfortunately, I think she's still having challenges with her connection. So I'll quickly go to Mr. Ernest Ekereke. So Ernest, the floor is yours.
Um, Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Okay, I want to first of all say thank you for the opportunity to share my little story. I I believe I'm the I'm the smallest in rank here based on what I've heard so far. I've not even started, but God will help us. Okay, so my story had to do with my interest, like the intentionality I had. So it all started um one of the courtesy visit we were opportune to have with Professor Wilfred here in Calabar. Then I was in 200 level and he was sharing his own story. And then what I noticed was him emphasizing on he said focus on getting good grades and every other thing will fall in place. He said that thing like 3 or 4 times in the course of the conversation and it stuck in my memory. So I left that place. I left his house that day. I was really charged, and I had to focus on getting good grades. Since I was in mathematics department, I didn't want to take any chances. So I was in 200 level, and I knew when the time for application would come, I would need some recommendations and everything. So I I I was in 200 level, and I contested for the departmental president. One of the reasons why I went for that position was to be closer to my lecturers and establish relationship with them so that during applications I will not struggle with recommendations. Since I will be sending out lots of applications, I will if I had established a relationship with it, it would be easier for them to send recommendations whenever I needed recommendation letters. And I also checked around what else do I need to improve on. I came across the computational simulation research group where Sir Tom happens to be a member and Professor Wilfred the collaborator. I guess I didn't tell Professor Wilfred I was going to join, but I believe one of the pictures that was taken of the group, he saw me and then he asked, did you join? I said, yes, I decided to join. So that was to give me the opportunity to learn how to um, carry out scientific research, write research papers, research articles, and learn software tools for data analysis and so many other things. So I had to join that group and I made friends that had like that were like-minded like myself and were at the time putting in for applications. I want to say that the Erasmus I got now, I didn't even use my original transcript. What I did was I just downloaded my results on the Unica portal. I took it to my HOD, he signed and he stamped. So it was after I got the admission and the scholarship that I went through the process of requesting, applying for transcript because they needed to verify, and the transcript and my certificate was verified. But I got the scholarship with just the unique result. That's most persons will tell you, my transcript is not ready. So I didn't want to take chances because I've been monitoring the program. Like I monitor when it opens and everything. So I feel first of all the intentionality matters a lot. That's what I try to tell people that because we hear story of people saying a third class in Nigeria can make a first class abroad. I told my friend B, who is in the US, and I said, "Nah, lie yo, like it's a big lie because you come with that mindset and you are disappointed because what you meet here, you think these people don't read or they are not serious, but I've spent I think 1 week and some days in Italy already, but these guys they are serious. They take education very serious. The program is My program is such that after exams you have an oral exams. So it's not enough for you to cram and pass. It doesn't work here because you come for an oral exam, so you still come and talk, say the things with your mouth. So they want to know if you understand the concept of what you wrote. So it's possible for somebody to write an exam, you pass very well, but if you cannot pass the oral exams, you have to go back and so if you are intentional, you know that okay, this is what I'm going to face when you come, so that when you start seeing the nature of the program, because it's a scholarship, they are funding you. So like somebody said, there's no free money anywhere. There's no free money in Europe. There's no free money in Australia. There's no free money in China. Nobody will just, the scholarship is not like they are giving you free money to come and sleep. So you will put in the work. So what I did was prepare, get adequate information, and then take action. One thing is to get the information, and then another thing is to take action. The scholarship is not like I can give an information or give you an update on something, but if you don't do it yourself, do the DIY, you just let that information waste, and then it's nobody's fault. It will still boil down to yourself because you are not taking action enough. So if you're intentional and then you happen to be where you get the consistent information, and then you swing into action when you get this information, and then you build yourself. Like we from mathematics, we deal more with simulations and modeling. So I knew I needed to start learning programming. I took my programming skills to the next level. I learned Python for data analysis, for machine learning. So I don't try to restrict myself. I try to be flexible. So I learn as much as I can because I don't know what I'll face. So that when I'm here, I will not find myself struggling. I noticed that when I checked the University of L'Aquila, when I checked the program structure, they don't use Python that much for simulations. What they use is MATLAB. So I installed MATLAB and I started learning. I was doing all this thing before I even saw the offer letter. So I had series of rejection as well. The scholarship application journey is not smooth like everybody would think. I said it yesterday somewhere that the day I got this offer, I had three other rejections from schools in the US. And so sometimes you ask yourself, is it that this program they like me, this one they don't like me? But rejections came, and instead of me to feel bad or give up, I used that as an energy to go again. I kept going. I kept going. It was funny because in the research group where I belong, we had a lot of my friends had offers this year, and I was discussing with Gbe one day when he told me, okay, I got an offer to Clemson in the US. And as we were about dropping the car, I just told him, might be like me, say, I get offer. It was like, seriously. And it was a thing of joy because we worked for everything that is happening now. We worked for it, and the grace of God as well. So intentionality, you take action, and then you prepare because the scholarship journey is competitive, very, very competitive. Yeah, I think the whole of this school is the only one Akwa Ibom lady I've been opportunity to meet that, but there is no cross Riverian, and it's sad because even in other programs in the school that is not an Erasmus program, you have the Yorubas as majority. You have about 99.9% Yorubas in the school, and it's boiling down to their how they guide the people, how they send information, and the people as well, how they take actions. Like I have three of my colleagues that studied in Futa. So I have one in my program and two in Intermat because I happen to be in Real Math. And they'll tell you that, okay, as they are here, they are already putting, application is opening next month. They are already giving updates on how the people, they have a group where they can, but you know, that's my journey. We hope that God will help us and use us in our own little capacity to see how we can assist others that will be willing and intentional to to apply and try to get for scholar. It's a life-changing opportunity. Oh. I've never left Nigeria before. I'm covering my head. The weather is good. And my program, there's so much attached to it. Because after I told my brother yesterday that I've not cooked since I got to Italy. I've not cooked. I eat in the school canteen. I've not really entered the kitchen that I want to cook. So, but they make sure you're okay, you're comfortable, and then You just have to be serious and you study the book. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernest, for your very honest story. We invited Ernest, especially, his invitation is strategic. Like he mentioned, Ernest is less than 2 weeks old in Italy. He just left Nigeria. And he has a very special story because he's a fresh graduate. I think you've not gone for NYC yet, right?
Yes, sir, I've not gone for NYC yet.
Yes, so that's Edes's story. He hasn't gone for NYC. He just left the university and he was able to land a position. So I thought it wise that his story is going to inspire many of our, especially the final year students. You don't have to wait until everything is in place. You need to start preparing yourself from the get-go. What he did in school is to also improve himself beyond the curriculum of his mathematics education. He talked about other softwares he could lay his hand on. He learned the application, he learned some of these things, and he even went beyond his field and went to computational chemistry to learn how to use those softwares too. So I'm actually inspired by NS's story, and he's someone I'm very proud of. Finally, we have one person left. Hers is very important. She's going to talk about the Chinese government scholarship. Dollars Ita, I wonder if she has been able to join us now. Dollars, we've been waiting for you to join. I don't know if your network is okay now.
Prof, just quickly, Douglas has some network issues. She's trying both with her laptop and her phone. It's giving her issues. So we are trying to make arrangements where I will call her via WhatsApp to speak from my phone. So I'm calling her now. Yeah, she just pick up. Dollars, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have VPN problems, so it's really affecting the entire setup. All right. Hello everyone. I'm Dola Ita. I'm also a graduate of the University of Calabar. I graduated 2021. So, just like Tom Smith, I actually heard a lot about all the opportunities from Eastern Leagues, which I was very fortunate to.
We can't hear you. Can you hear us? Oh my God. Hello, Dollars.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, continue.
Okay. So,
this is problem from. No, we can't hear you. It's from your phone, so it's okay. Oh, I can't hear even from the phone. It's terrible over there.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate because hers is a different story entirely and a different scholarship. So it would have been good for us to also hear how she landed the Chinese government scholarship. I hope on another forum we're going to bring her to interact with us again so that our students back home would hear her story and be inspired by her. Okay, so
She's
now we will
I don't know
quickly.
if this is fine.
I don't think because
can you
of
hear me now?
time. Okay, if
Yeah,
it's clear,
can you speak now?
Okay. All right. So my scholarship journey actually started in my final year. I happened to work with the San Luis. I did some of his courses, corrected, and he told me that it would be good for me to go out there. And I had the interest to go out there. I was right that circumstances is an opportunity. I left for service. I didn't try that year. I didn't try that year. I just learning the software, the use of software like Python and some other softwares. Although I was using mostly for other things other than scientific work, but they did come in handy while preparing my CV. Then the day after that, I tried again and I got the offer. I actually got into contact with Dr. Kozuma, and through him and a group that he had created to help people to access this opportunity, I was able to get a fully funded offer to UCAS, Chinese Academy of Science, and I was able to come down here. And now, I think the thing I want to stress in my own story is the fact that I didn't get the offer the first time. I didn't get the opportunity the first time I tried. I didn't get it, but I built myself. I built my CV and built it up to the point it was there when I got the offer. And then also when I got the offer, it was not something that was really. I had many plans in place, and when I got the offer, I had to look for a way to ensure I absorbed it. So at that particular point, things were really hard. Things were very hard. There was no hope, technically. Those that knew me then, I think some of them were expecting that, okay, after she was going to actually sleep. But one thing I like to stress is the fact that if you are able to get an opportunity, help thinking, I don't know where I'm going to get help from. I don't know how I'm going to get there. If I get the offer, I don't know how I'm going to move myself down there. That is not the issue. I've heard so many people say that. Someone told me, if I so much. I mean, getting the passport is not the issue. Getting the other papers, they're not the issue. Myself, the first few months I'm there, will I go down and die before the people end of the being start coming? And I'm like, come on. Where there is a will, there is a way. So my story is basically that there was nothing. I had nothing when I got the offer, but God made a way. I was able to get the transportation I needed to come down here. Not just that, I was able to survive for the first month before I got my stipend. So what I would like to encourage you guys with is that try out for it first. Get your portfolio up. Everything you do from now till whenever you get the offer, let it be intentional. And don't discourage yourself because maybe you get an offer. Don't allow that to give discouragement to you. Keep pushing. And keep pushing. And you don't know where help will come. You don't know how help will come, but it will definitely come. So yeah, that's my story. I don't really have much to say. It's just that is just how it happened for me. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we heard very clearly what you said. I think you hold on during the session for questions and answers. A question pertaining to you, I will call you back and then I'll just be here and be listening from my phone.
Okay. Thank you very much for improvising, Bisong and Dollars. I gave up on the fact that we weren't able to hear her, but that's a very innovative thing you guys have done. Thank God we can hear her, but I think it wasn't as clear as I would have expected, but we could hear her. Since she's still on the call, I just have one simple question for her. How did you get a supervisor? Because I know for UCAS scholarship, the University of Chinese Academy of Science scholarship, it's quite competitive, and the first step is to get a supervisor. So how were you able to get a supervisor? How did you put yourself in the position where you were selected amongst other applicants?
Okay, yes. I actually got this supervisor 3 times. I got this supervisor 3 times. The first year, I got this supervisor through a recommendation, but so many things happened and I could not get access to certain information, so I lost that supervisor. But that was through a recommendation. Then the second time, the second supervisor I got, it was through sending lots of mails. I sent a lot of mail. I sent mail like every week till I had gotten to the certain point where, okay, this is what I had planned. I sent a lot of mail, like over maybe 200 mails or something. And then I got a supervisor, but I think there was a breakdown in communication. And later on, I got to understand that Gmail and China, like Google services and China, they don't really go hand in hand, because I don't know why. I don't know why Google is not. They have their own type of Google, but it's not what we use. So the next time I was sending out email, I made sure to use my Outlook mail, because they are very familiar with Microsoft now, Microsoft services, and Outlook is under Microsoft. So I used Microsoft to ensure that there is no break in due to maybe loss of information or something due to policies regarding the two stuff. I did not really understand that part, but it was actually challenging. So I just used Outlook, because it's Outlook and Hotmail. So yeah, the supervisor I have now, I actually got him through a recommendation too. We sent out a lot of mail. I sent out a lot of mail, and then Dr. Eduna asked me, would you be interested in environmental science? Because I happen to have access to a supervisor that actually wants a student in environmental science. Should I send in your CV? I said yes, definitely, because environmental science is very related to chemistry, and it's something I've had interest in, because I look at global news often about the environment and stuff like that. So he looked at my CV and he said he's okay with it. When I came here, he still asked me about the stuff on my CV, because it appears that they do a lot of computational work here, and I think the reason I was accepted by this supervisor is because of my experience with those softwares. So yeah, I got my current supervisor through a recommendation, which leads me to repeat what I think it's Tom Smith. Tom Smith says something about build. No, I think it's Ernest. Ernest says something about building a good relationship with people, with professors, with people, like, you never know where you're going to get a very good recommendation from. So.
All right. Thank you very much for the response. Just to reiterate, she has stated two very key things. To get to supervisor one time, she sent over 200 emails to different professors asking if they needed students. Okay, so we stated before, it's very competitive and it's not an easy task. You need to put yourself in the position to keep applying even when you're getting rejections. And then she mentioned that she got another supervisor through recommendation. So this stresses the need for building relationships. Don't be an island, okay? And that's why we have also created this community where we would have other applicants interact with themselves on our WhatsApp platform. If you are here and you are not part of the WhatsApp platform, please, you can just drop your contact on the chat box or indicate interest, and we would pick your numbers and add you to those platforms so that you can start to interact with other applicants and build relationships with yourselves and with people above you, because these are the people that are going to help you. All right, so thank you very much, Dollars. The next question would be for Dr. Aka Augustine. He gave a very, very interesting story, mainly success stories. It may be quite misleading for people to hear his story and think it has been rosy all through, right? So we know these things. We know that the journey is not easy. We have gotten lots of rejections. So I want him to try and tell us, how many applications did you send out until you landed the scholarship where you are the scholarship you're currently enjoying? People would think that immediately you send out this application, you may have gotten it, but they need to hear the story so that they can be inspired by how many applications did you send out before you landed the one you have, And also the next is, because applications are time bound, how long did it take you to complete your application process so that people would start to prepare? When did you start and when did you finish? Okay. And then thirdly, for PTDF, NDDC, Commonwealth scholarships, and we know that they have different thematic areas where you're going to align your research to fit into. How were you able to, maneuver this and choose the best thematic area for your application? So, Dr. Aka, please bless us with your story again.
Yeah, thank you once again, Professor Imori. I mean, I am very inspired. And I think this is a great initiative because when some of us were at bachelor's degree level, we didn't quite get this opportunity. Perhaps if we had, I think Bison can relate to this because we have like a similar story and we are from almost the same background. If we had, perhaps we would have gotten better opportunities, compared to what we have at the moment. So, but the questions that Professor Imori asked are very significant question. So the first is, how many applications did I send out? And if I have to, retract a bit to count from bachelor's degree to my current level, my second PhD, because even as at this moment, I am still doing application because, of course, we know that academics is a continuous process. Professor Imori can attest to that, even if you have reached the zenith, which is professorial level, you still have to be applying for probably short research stay, apply for funding, etc. And if I'll have to, answer that thematically, I'll say that at bachelor's degree level, I think I apply for well over 50 to 60, scholarship opportunities. Because then in our time, what was really, really common was like the Shell Petroleum Scholarship, and most of the oil and gas, companies and the scholarship opportunities that they were providing for like very good, students. And I was able to get just two at the time, haven't sent up to like 50 or even more application. And it came at the twilight of my first bachelor's degree. Then at master's level, and I'll say that it is at master's level that I really, really had a lot of application, submitted. And it was also at master's level that I got a lot of rejection. If you listen to my submission speech earlier, I did say that at master's level, I apply for the Rhodes Scholarship, I apply, of course, for the GATE Cambridge, apply for even the DAAD or scholarship as, of course, direct master's scholarship to study in Europe. I also apply for even the Australia, scholarship opportunity. But in all of those applications, usually the feedback sometimes are not very encouraging. And you give in all that you have to give in the best. You have like a good CV and stuff like that. But at the end, you get rejection. But what kept me going is the belief, and I think it was Etchen that stressed on that, the intentionality, the belief that I would definitely get a scholarship and I'll get the best. So I kept on applying. I knew that in the number of rejection that I got, I knew that my success story, was going to come. So there are a lot of challenges, and sometimes these challenges could get you depressed, even if you know that you have a good profile, you have good publication, you have a good, of course, academic credentials, but the challenges of rejection and how to deal with them and how not to give up and just keep on. Because I remember at master's level, that's like as a fresh, lecturer in the University of Calabar, I was always at a place called I think there is a place there used to be a joint, those of us that know Calabar very well, behind now I think Fidelity Bank. I've forgotten what the name is. I think H2O, yeah, they call it H2O. I always go there because I usually connect, because of course data was a problem, but I usually use the Fidelity Bank Wi-Fi, which of course then it wasn't controlled. There was no good security, network of the Wi-Fi. So I could use it just behind the bank, and I'll spend lots of hours there, trying to apply, struggling between whether there is power or whether there is data and stuff like that. I remember when I finished my bachelor's, I had to borrow a laptop several times because I needed to meet up, because there are some applications that you cannot do with your cell phone. Because knowing the background that I come from, yeah, I don't know of other panelists, but coming from a socially very disadvantaged background, having of course stayed at home for like 4 years after my XXCE because there was no fund to continue my education. I knew that if I have a chance to get into the university, I have to, of course, get the best out of it. And so usually when I work so hard, read my book, attend night classes, and some of my colleagues get to ask me, why do you take things so seriously, especially your academics? And I tell them, I have no minute that I have to live unemployed. Every minute that I have must be engaged. And this is not to say that I was only bent on academics or I only focused on academics. No, I did, of course, campus politics. I was the student union government executive at the time. I think I served as director of information. And that was after representing my department, my faculty at various phases. I was also involved in church-related activities. I was leading the biggest group then, the Legion of Mary. I'm a Catholic, by the way, in St. Paul. Mr. Bison can relate to that. So it was demanding, but I knew clearly what I wanted. And I didn't allow certain things to distract me. My focus was on my academics, building my social, interpersonal relationship life, also networking with people who I think I can model my life after. So at PhD level, it was at PhD level that I did, I would say, not so much application before I got, of course, my current funding, because for my first PhD, it was still sponsored by Delta Africa, and for that one, it was just one straight application, and I got it. But before I succeeded my master's scholarship, I had applied for well over 100 to 150 times different applications. There were some, of course, scholarship or opportunities that I had to apply twice just because of my interest and passion to get those scholarships. Especially, for instance, the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship for Masters and PhD is obtainable in the United Kingdom. I think I applied for Commonwealth like twice, if I remember, and I got a rejection. And the funny thing is, because I would like us to understand this, is that when you're rejected doesn't mean that you aren't good or your profile isn't good. It suggests that probably the panelists or the committee, the selection committee, think at that moment that what other people submitted was much more compelling. And I didn't get to know this until when I started getting success story, because after the first success story, be rest assured that if you keep on, you will get many success stories. You realize that during the evaluation, because each time I get a rejection, I try to reach back to the scholarship body. Could you please tell me areas where I need to do better, or please evaluate my application? And in the most polite way, sometimes they get back to me and say, well, we thought that your application was good, but this area you need to focus on it. There was even a feedback I got that was terribly crazy. And I define that feedback to be very damning, but I'm saying this because you probably get some of this feedback. I don't wish that you get rejected, but brace up for that. It will come. It's a normal thing in academics. There was a feedback I got that was very damning, but I had to shift it behind me and focused on what I needed to do and get it done. So, but when I got my first acceptance, and thereafter I got many other acceptance. So at master's level, it was well over 100 plus. So keep in mind that sometimes even the person that you guys are doing the application together might even succeed while you have not succeeded. There were scholarships that I applied for that I did not get. For instance, the Diana scholarship in the United Kingdom. I didn't get it, but I recommended one of my mentees, who, of course, was the best graduating student in the Department of Political Science at the time during his section, and he got it, but I didn't get it. I didn't get the Belkin China scholarship, but I recommended one of my mentee, who of course was under my tutelage at the University of Calabar Debate Club, and he got it. But when I applied for that scholarship, I didn't get it. So the narrative are different. The struggles, of course, are also different. The experiences, are also different. So primarily, what you need to know is, especially if you are doing your bachelor's at the moment, while you focus on getting good grade, start as early as possible to start making application, and send your application to your mentors, send your application to people that you look up to. Let them, first review it, evaluate it, and if they okay it, you can submit it, especially your XOP. And, when I was still learning how to write very well, I used to write a lot. Sometimes in the feedback that I got, the panelists would tell me, well, your XOP was good, but we lost touch of what you were trying to explain because you had written more than we expected. So you have to look at the criteria, look at the eligibility, look at what the one, and focused on that. If they say do a 300-word, XOP, focused on getting your XOP, up to 300-word, and it shouldn't be, well too more than that or well lesser than that, because sometimes when it is very competitive, they look at little edges, little competitive advantage that an applicant A has over an applicant B. So you wouldn't want to be the applicant that is disadvantaged. So I advise strongly and recommend that you focus on those little details and give it all the attention that it requires. So I will say that in my career, build up to my current status, I think I can rightly say, although I've lost count, but I will be correct if I estimate that I have applied for up to like 200 to 250, scholarship. And I missed those scholarship. I've gotten a lot of acceptance, and also I've gotten, quite a lot of rejection. Then just to summarize briefly, the second part of your question, Professor Imori, you did say, how did I structured, especially my research concept notes to have been selected by PTDF, knowing that PTDF, for instance, their approach is different from some scholarship. There are scholarship that don't really care about the context or the scope of your research interest or your research concept note. They just want to see what you want to do, what methodology, what approach that you're taking, and all of that. But for PTDF, they always want, your concept note or your research interest to, be inextricably linked to what they are interested in, which is, of course, the scope of PTDF, to see that, oil and gas, industry is developed and is giving the necessary research backing that it is expected. So what I did during my application to the PTDF was to structure my research. I'm from, of course, a social science background, to structure my research to buttress some of the issues. The question I was trying to answer was, of course, questions relating to some of the petroleum development bills, because my master's was in public policy, and of course my first PhD in UNICA was in defense policy. So I wanted to know, why do we have some of the petroleum, bills in Nigeria, and why are they not, probably effective in ensuring that we have, good petroleum distribution, both the downstream level and in the upstream. And so this is technically, I would say, different from those who are really into the core research in terms of understanding, oil and gas, those who are in chemical engineering, petrochemical engineering, etc. So why they probably selected me was because they saw clearly that there was a gap in research at the time. I think they also mentioned it to me during the evaluation, because I did ask for feedback, that they haven't seen anyone submit a proposal that exclusively and specifically try to address issues of petroleum bills. And that's the problem that the country is still facing. Not to, of course, to bring in Nigerian politics into this discourse, but ideally, what I'm trying to solve is part of what, of course, the current, petroleum sector is encountering in Nigeria. But because I'm a social scientist, I also have the liberty or the privilege to, intersect my research. So what I did is, or what I'm doing is to intersect my research and connect it to, of course, petroleum producing communities, and why some of those bills doesn't work there, and how, like, the internal crisis and conflict that they are experiencing, there are issues of concern that need to be addressed if these some of the petroleum bills that we have had, need to work and work good enough to help our country, especially in the context or in the sector of oil and gas. So it is challenging, but focused on your strength, build on your strengths, network, open yourself to shared experiences, take advantage of webinars, attend initiative and meetings, or of course discussion like what we are having, and try to build your experience around what you think will give you that competitive advantage. There are some scholarship that also try to, determine your English language proficiency. I know probably Professor Wilfred Emory will come to that, but you need to find out what are the eligibility. Do you need to take IELTS? Do you need to take some language proficiency, etc.? But all in all, try to have strong, recommendation, strong XOP, good, specific, precise, research proposal. And if you submit whatever it is, just believe that even if this, because this is my belief, even if it is so competitive that they just want 2 persons, I always believe that my concern should be about the other person. I should be selected on merit. I've never believed in cutting corners, believe in compromises, believe in fisticuffs. I believe that what is worth doing, of course, is worth doing well. And just to summarize by saying this, because I don't know if further questions will be directly connected to this. I would like to say, I don't know what your fates are. Of course, this is not where we should be questioning that, but the bottom line in my experience, because I'm sharing my experience, is that for anything I apply for, I do not leave God out of it. I do not leave God out of it. So I first talk to God about it, and even after I have submitted the application, I prayed about it. And I keep praying about it until the decision, is taken. Yesterday, I submitted an application to the Harvard University. It is a German-American funding organization, and it allows, of course, fresh PhD graduates or holders to do like a short research visit, or more like a short fellowship, in Harvard. And I submitted it yesterday. So when we were to have a meeting, the panelist meeting. So it was one of the things that kept me so busy that I couldn't join the panelist meeting. So this lead me to the final point that I would like to conclude with. You have to define your priority, especially for our young brothers and sisters who are back there in Nigeria, on campus in the University of Calabar, Cross River State University, etc. Wherever you find yourself, define your priority. Don't follow the bandwagon, jumping around, not knowing what you have to do and not knowing how to do it. There are some things that are very important that you have to cut off from. And that's the truth. Relationship, for instance, that are not taking you to anywhere, you should cut off from them. Visitation to some places, social event and gathering that are not necessary, you cut off from them. So if you redefine your priority, you will know that for this issue, it's something that has to do with my career and my pathway to greatness. I have to focus on it, or I have to focus on it. And that's what I did. After the whole noise during the day, aluta, gbogbo, aluta, gbagba, jump around at open path, go to courtesy call, do this, do that. I did all of that. Go to the VC office, all the glamour. At midnight, I single myself out because that time I looked has ended and I don't sleep. When I go to write my exam, I have my ace. I have my ace. And so you can do that. And you can also excel in your field and be in a position where you can also advise, potential scholarship recipients in the future. Cross River State is counting very much on us, and especially for the young ones that we are speaking to, you have to do the best you can. You can see the example of HN, for instance, and other young panelists and what they have been able to achieve. And you need to also understand that even if this is not to, of course, discredit NYC, one of my mentees who was at the Peking College in China, I think Professor Mary, you will know that school. It is a very good school in China. He got the funding just fresh after his bachelor's, and till today he hasn't cared about going back to do NYC, because I think that 1 year usually distracts a lot of people focus. And if people define what they want to do in life, they can always get the best out of it. Your goal shouldn't be just to finish your bachelor's and then you get your NYC and what next. Your goal should be far beyond that, and you can pursue it rigorously, give in the best, and believe that you can do it. And I think that if that's your conviction, then why not? Thank you.
Wow. Wonderful, very wonderful, very wonderful. I appreciate the fact that your response is quite expansive. I don't even know where to comment on, but you have answered the question and went overboard to advise, which is quite encouraging. So a summary of it is that rejection is normal. So let's accept that rejection is normal. But should it stop you? No, it shouldn't stop you. Okay? We all have faced this, so that by the time you start applying, it's nothing new. Know that those that are talking to you today have also passed through those processes. They've experienced those challenges and they did not stop. They kept on pushing. And then for the PTDF, NDDC, and maybe the Commonwealth Scholarship, they have different thematic areas, which Dr. Aka has touched on, how he was able to align his research proposal to solving a particular problem in a particular field. So I also want to reiterate that if you're going for a PhD research opportunity, your major goal is what problem am I going to solve, okay? So if you're in this situation, all you need to do is to look at the problems around the particular industry, and there you proffer solutions to this problem. A friend of mine says, if you cannot find a problem, you create the problem, and then you create the solution. That's what they are looking for. Okay, so thank you very much for that. I'll quickly go to Mrs. Deborah Edem. I hope you are still with us. Okay, so the question is, many people... Okay, yes, you're here. All right, the question is, many people may be interested in postgraduate study, but find it difficult to decide on the area of specialization. Irrespective of their first degree, they need to find an area where they think they are going to prosper in, right? From your story, you mentioned having a background in biomedical engineering, and then you finally landed in IT. So I want you to share what your motivation was behind the switch from biomedical engineering to IT.
Okay, can you give me a second, please?
All right, so maybe I can let me move to another panelist, and then we'll come to you when you're ready.
Let me
Tom
just get
Smith?
to that, because I have other meeting running at the same time too. Please, can you get this to
Okay.
me?
All right then.
You asked how I moved around a lot. Well, so I had let me give you a backstory how I ended up with biomedical engineering. Initially, I was trying to do, because I started electrical electronics engineering in a private polytechnic in Nigeria. So I was trying to get into the another electrical communication engineering program at the school that I went to in Ghana. So when I got there, I found out that they have biomedical engineering, and I had to now like weigh and see where my strengths were. And I was interested in biomedical engineering. I had a little bit more strength in biology and all of those things. And I said, okay, I would go with that option. And that was the first school that was doing that program in the whole of West Africa at the time, the University of All Nations in Ghana. So I was like, this is great. Let me get to it, since it's technology, it's application of technology in medicine. So it was interesting to me, and I wanted to. So that's how I jumped on biomedical engineering. But when I was trying to come here, the school that I got, they had engineering technology. So my master's, first master was concentration was on technology. But since I already did a program that is also technology based, because it was more so engineering design in medicine, and I thought technology marries it, but I came to find out it was a little different, because the program I did was more focused on production technology, quality assurance, and all of those things. But I was still more so in a technical this thing. When I joined the army now, I found out that when I was thinking about how to progress and build my career in the army, I know that we have a army command center, army cybersecurity command. And I was like, if I was to stay a long time, if I was to extend my contract and continue to be in the army, I need to be in a specialized program, because we have specialized unit like the chaplain, the medical, and then now they have the third specialized unit, which was cybersecurity unit. And I said I wanted to join that unit. So I went back to school to get to do a second master's in cybersecurity technology. That was my number one reason to switching to cybersecurity, because I wanted to join the Army cybersecurity unit. That was why. And then, of course, everything we're learning about cybersecurity is like this thing. The same way I'm interested in AI now is the same way I was interested in cybersecurity, because we're in the era where cybersecurity was people becoming more aware of it. And as internet and technology is expanding, there's need for security. So those are the things that capture my interest is usually, just trying to I find the interest. I'm like, I like this. I want to know about this. I want to learn about this. So I make effort to go learn about that. So those were my reasons for doing different this thing. And right now for my PhD, I'm doing information security system. So, but in concentration in artificial intelligence, I try to marry everything I've done together. I'm interested in AI now because we are shifting into an AI era. So I still find a way to still put that, so I can marry all my qualifications I can link them in a way that makes sense, in a way that is relevant, in a way that is fresh. So those are my reasons. You can say I'm more of I'm more as of an explorer when it comes to education. I just explore different fields that I find interesting at the time.
All right. Thank you very much for answering the question very well. The key lesson from her response is interest. Find your interests. Okay. If you want to, once you find something that interests you, it means you want to know more about that thing, and then you can enjoy doing it. So you will not enjoy doing what you're not interested in. So to choose an area which is suitable for your career growth, you have to find an interest in that area, and that's what she has just explained to us in a nutshell. Okay, I would apologize for the time we have spent so far. Please, we just have a little time to wrap this up. Tom Smith, yours is quite direct. My question is to Tom Smith, right?
Okay.
How do I know
Yep.
if I'm eligible to apply for a scholarship? That's the first question. At what point did you know you were eligible for the scholarship you were going to apply for? Then what are the specific information you included in your essay that you think were the game changers in those essays, including the one that you are currently enjoying? And finally, when is the best time to start your scholarship application?
Okay. So I will answer the question in no particular order. Let me start with the last one. There is no perfect time to start applying. Whenever you are ready, start applying. Okay. So the basic thing is you need to look at which specific scholarship is open. And if a scholarship is open, read the requirement. What does scholarship want? What are they looking for? What are they asking for? So if a scholarship is asking for a specific thing, then you start preparing for that particular thing. Okay, like in my own case, the first scholarship I applied for were more of essay-based scholarships, where so they require that I write some certain amount or a certain words of essays that you have to write about yourself, about why you want a particular thing, right? So those were the scholarships I started applying for first initially, but then although I didn't get it, but I had to look for some other scholarship that required some other criteria that was not necessarily based on essays. Okay, so the scholarship requirements is very important. You must read it, and then you must align your application towards that specific scholarship you are applying for. That will answer the last question. So the other question you said, what are the things that I did differently that enhanced my CV? Yes, I did a lot. In fact, I would say I applied my first scholarship in 2019. Like I said, I didn't get it. I applied again in 2020. I was placed on a waiting list and I didn't take action. Now, this is where it's important. If a scholarship gives you an opportunity that you are on a waiting list and they ask you to contact so and so person, you must take action because you never can tell what your action would bring. But I didn't take action. I was asked to contact someone after I applied for the Erasmus scholarship in 2020 that I was on a waiting list and I should contact one or two persons like that. I did not take that action. And of course, I don't know what the outcome would have been if I had taken an action. Okay, so it's always important to attend to everything, whether you actually get the acceptance right in front or you are on the waiting list. Do what is required of you. Okay, so begin then 2020, I didn't also get it. 2021, I also applied to the US. I got several rejections as well. 2022, the same thing, before I finally got this scholarship here. So within this time, what I did was I was building my CV based on what was absent. The first time I applied, I never had any publications. I was just writing essays. So I knew that I needed academic profile. I had a CGPA. Okay, a CGPA alone was not enough. So I needed more skills, more other things to add. I started volunteering. I added volunteering skills. I added research experience. I added publications to my CV. I added several things that actually boost my application. So each year, if I get a rejection, I would, just like Dr. Aka had initially said, you contact the scholarship. Why didn't you get the scholarship? They will always be willing to give you feedback on why they think you didn't get it. Okay. So if you get the feedback, then you build on that specific thing that is missing. If it is a publication that is missing, you have to go the extra mile to get it, to include it in your CV for you to be considered for the next scholarship that you want to seek or you want to get. Okay. So for the essay parts, reviewing is very important. Paying attention to detail when you are writing your SOP is very, very important. In fact, a simple thing as you missing a comma where it's supposed to be, or you not flowing your English properly would cost you the scholarship. Tiny mistakes that typographical, or you misspelled a word or something, they could also cost you because they think that if you are not careful with what you are writing, then you might not also be careful with how you conduct research. So if you are writing a statement of purpose, every single thing is important. Where a comma is supposed to be, make sure it is there. But then that is when reviewing becomes important, because when we are writing, we are overshadowed. Our mind is already clouded with what we are writing. So if you give your SOP to a third party to read it, that person's feedback can help you. The person can help see errors where you could not see. I had my SOP reviewed by several persons, people who were not necessarily scholarship holders, right? So I write the scholarship, I give it to my friend, I say, hey, look, just read it for me. Let me see how it sounds. So the person reads it. Okay, so, oh, look, this thing is okay, but it could be better this way. So I take the comments of that person and I work on it and I improve it. So I had my SOP reviewed by several people and they gave me feedback that actually helped me, such that when I applied for the scholarship, yes, it was perfect. In fact, the scholarship that I got in Australia, I got the scholarship not just based on my CV alone. I got it based on the CV, and I also got it based on the statement of purpose. In fact, I got a different offer as the Best International Students Award for my SOP because my SOP was perfect. So they liked what I wrote, and it was also, so they also gave me like a side award for that particular for a scholarship for just my SOP write-up alone, outside of the scholarship that covers my tuition and my living stipend and other things, okay? So it's very important that you take into consideration all of that. So what I would say is how you strategize your story and how you make sure that your story aligns with the field that you're applying for. Like for instance, now, if I want to write the SOP about what is trending, which is artificial intelligence, maybe I want to say that I am interested in studying artificial intelligence. So I have to align my background, what I have done in the past, and what I think AI might actually do in the future. So everything has to be connected such that if someone reads it, the person can actually see that this person has done thorough research about what he's writing about. Okay, so if you don't structure your statements of purpose to flow from the problem to the solution, it's going to cost you. So all those are simple things. Then I don't know if I'm missing one more question that you had asked. Please, Prof, maybe you can help me say it again.
No. I think you have touched based on all of them, because I asked how do you know? Okay, how did you know you were eligible to apply?
Okay,
Maybe that's
good.
the only one.
How I knew I was eligible to apply. That is purely reading through the scholarship advertisement board. Okay, so when the scholarships are open, they normally advertise on universities portal. And in this case, I also want to mention that in this how will I call it, in this game of scholarship, the platform that you really need to be connected to, you need to be connected on LinkedIn, you need to be connected on Twitter or X, right? Most professors are on Twitter. They would advertise when scholarships are open, when they are looking for students. They will advertise it on their LinkedIn, they will advertise it on their Twitter handle. So you need to follow these people and follow academic Twitter. Follow the discussions. I got my supervisor in Australia through LinkedIn. He posted that he was looking for a student on LinkedIn. And then I contacted him on LinkedIn. And then he connected with me and I sent him my CV. And that was how we connected. Okay, so social media is also very important. Don't spend time on Facebook. Follow professors on Twitter. If you're looking for scholarship, there are people posting several informations on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Follow them up. And then when you see such an opportunity, reach out to them. Contact the people who post those things. They might reply, some might not reply, but don't give up, okay? And then you will go through the school to see. Every school has a different requirement for a different particular program, okay? Even in the US admits people from your bachelor's to a PhD. So it is possible for you to even do a PhD in the US with just your bachelor's. You don't need a master's degree to do a PhD in the US. I know several people who have gotten scholarships and full funded PhDs in the US without a master's degree, right? So you need to find out which one suits you and what works for you. So I would say there is no perfect time for you to know that I am ready to apply. If you see an opportunity, just do what the opportunity says, provide the required documents, and then just hope for the best. Yep.
All right, fantastic.
Okay.
Very fantastic
Yeah,
response. And one very interesting thing you mentioned is the need to use LinkedIn. We in this age of social media where we have many platforms, we should be careful of the kind of content we put out there.
exactly.
At a point in my life, when I Googled my name, the only thing that came back was my Facebook posts. Okay. So that was when I was transitioning to academics, and it was part of the motivation. I wanted to change that. So let's be very careful as to the kind of information we put out there, because even the people you are trying to reach out to will have access to this information. All right. I really appreciate your response. Finally, Ernest, hope you're here with us.
Yes, Prof, I'm here.
All right, so yours is quite the basics, because I want you to try to let our participants know what to prepare. So what is the first piece of document you would advise an applicant to prepare? And what other documents are considered relevant? So let's just start from the beginning. Take us back. What was the first piece of documents? And what other documents you think are relevant for scholarship applications?
Okay, so first off, applicants should get their international passport. At least it's a show of commitment that you really want to apply for scholarships and then travel out to further your studies, and get your transcript. I know I didn't use my transcript, but that was due to the fact that our results, the whole result processing issue in Unical and everything. So I didn't want to see a situation where I will wait, and so I just needed to use what I had at the time to apply. So the international passport, the transcript, I think those are the two major things you need to put in place, and then the start crafting a CV. And I needed to say something that for those that will be applying, and for applicants as well that will be needing supervisors, to secure supervisors, for those that will be applying to scholarships that will require you to secure supervisors, applicants need to try as much as possible to learn how to write mails as well. It's also a skill, but I think we don't emphasize much on how to write mails. I think it's a skill that an undergraduate should learn and know how to send mails to professors, because most of the mails, when they come in like that, the content, what does it entail? What do you want? So if you write those mails anyhow, professors don't have time, and then when they come in, they don't take you serious. So I feel international passport, the transcript, and applicants should start crafting their CV. Don't have this static CV where you it doesn't. I feel like, okay, the CV should be updated very frequently to keep you in check. It should be updated, because you need, and the CV is not like regular kind of CV. If I'm applying for a remote role or for a job as a data analyst, I will not use the same CV I want to use in applying for Erasmus to apply for that job role. Like the Erasmus scholarship, they require a Europass CV. That means you have to go to Europass, to go to the website, create an account, and create a CV, but it has to be a Europass CV. So if you don't look out for those requirements and you just submit a random CV, just your application already disqualified. So those are the requirements, the CV. So like the Erasmus, we know it's Europass CV you need. So those are the things to look out for. So if you have a CV you've already, well, like what I did during when I was about to put in for the application, I already had an academic CV I already had an academic CV. What I did was just to create a Europass CV, but I just modeled it with what I had already. Since the requirement for the Erasmus needs you to create a Europass CV. So the transcript, your international passport, because most scholarships will want you to submit the data page of your passport, but not all scholarships will require it. But as a means of identification, most of the applications require you to submit the data page. So you have to have it handy, and then transcript your certificate as well to upload those, and then you start writing your SOP. And the SOP as well, I feel SOP is not fixed, it's not a constant. It's also SOP. It should be written with respect to the program you are applying for. Like one of the speakers, I think Satom mentioned that there are some scholarships that will really emphasize on your leadership potentials. Some will emphasize on your research potentials, your academic potential. So your SOP has to be flexible. It doesn't have to be you submit one SOP in three different schools. You find out that there's no balance. But just have a template of the SOP, and then you write. Is I think applying for scholarship is a job. Is a job because it will require you to do the work. But if you are serious and the applicants are serious and then put in the work, then it's worth it. It's worth it because SOP, you don't just wake up and write once and then it's. I know the number of times I had to write, I would delete and write. When I read it myself, I will be like, oh God, you've written rubbish. When I read it, and I'll be like, if it is this thing you've written now, if you are the one of the members of the committee, will you select yourself? So you just have to and then send it out to people to review. I know the number of times they and Innocent helped me with reviewing. So when they bring it back and we just have to take their correction, reason with them and make it better. So for a start, the transcript, the international passport, your CV. So CV is important as well, and then statement of purpose. Most scholarships will not necessarily ask for your certificate, but I think when you're about to do documentation, maybe when you might have gotten the offer, then those you now submit every other thing. But for the main ones you may need are the transcript, your SOP, CV, and international passport, and then study for the basic application needs one can. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Ernest. So, just like Ernest has stated, your passport is very important. For those of you who have plans to apply for scholarship, foreign scholarship, the first thing you should do is to apply for your international passport. That's your proof of identity, right? And then you should apply for your transcript and your certificate. Those are your proof of eligibility or minimum eligibility. And then your CV is your proof of more like your work history, who you are and what you have done. Okay, so these are three basic things you need to prepare. The other things are now based on the requirements of each of the scholarships that you want to apply for. With that, I think we have come to the end of this session. I wish we had more time because there are so many questions that I have written down, but we have taken so much time today and it would be unfair for us not to allow those who have other engagements to go to their business. So I want to especially thank the panelists for lending their voices and sharing their stories. They're very inspiring stories. And I hope that they will make themselves available for our Cross River State students so that we can be able to reach them at any time to get more inspiration from them and guidance as we prepare for our scholarship journey. We're not going to end here. The next stage would be a Q&A session where we'll take questions from our participants who are on the platform. If you have direct questions to any of the panelists, it will now be your turn and your opportunity to do that. So I would yield the mic to Mr. Emmanuel Bison, who will be coordinating this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. It's quite an interesting session so far. So quickly, I would like to say that we have less than 15 minutes to end this meeting. So please, if you have a question, just indicate by raise of hand so that we take your questions immediately. And then we have other things to do before we call it a day. If there are any questions, please just indicate and then we take them very fast. Okay. Justin Undie, Dr. Justin Undie, I will take you last, please. Any from those from back home, I don't know if there are any questions, please. Can you go first? I've seen only the hand of Dr. Justin Undie. Okay, Innocent Enang. Please, your question very fast. Innocent Enang, unmute and then talk to us.
Okay, good day, all.
Sorry, Innocent Enang, you're speaking from Cross River State, right? Or from Nigeria, right?
Yes, from
okay, go ahead,
Nigeria.
please. Yeah.
Okay, mine is not really a question, but a comment. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers and the Cross River in the Diaspora for this great initiative. And also, I would like to commend the panelists. I've been able to learn a thing or two from them. One of the key takeaways is the intentionality behind the whole process. And the second thing is for us to ensure that we put in the work to make sure that our intentions are achieved. So I've really learned a lot, and it will really help me in the future in the process of applying for various scholarships. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much for your comment. Well appreciated. So quickly, we go to the Vice President of CRID and then Dr. Justin Undie. I will come to you, please. Are there other questions? No, any other person? Okay, there was a question on the chat box. Someone was asking that it seems to be just science-based. Those of them in the education, are there scholarships for them? I think Tom Smith has answered that question. There are scholarship opportunities for everybody. Yesterday, we were trying to get in touch with a scholar from Canada who is in education. She was supposed to be one of the panelists. Unfortunately, he got so busy, he couldn't, he's not available at the moment. In fact, he told me directly he was driving boat in Calabar before he got this opportunity. Fortunately, he's from the education. So education, whatever field, there are scholarships for everybody. As time progresses, you'll be opportune for further information, further opportunities, which you will share, just like what Tom Smith said at the chat box. Any other person? Somebody asked what is SOP. SOP is statement of purpose. So we expand on that later, maybe in the next meeting or when you come to add individually. I've seen so many people have demanded for contact to Tom Smith, to all the panelists. So you get to know more about this as time progresses. But just for a short answer, SOP means statement of purpose. So somebody just asked, my question is, how do we know when scholarships are available? Please endeavor to join the platform. We will share all the opportunities on the platform. The WhatsApp community that was created by us. So if you are not there, let us know. I think the SUG, postgraduate student leader in Cross River State University has shared the link. Just go there, click and join the platform. All the opportunities will be posted there. So any other person? Okay, please, we quickly, we have another meeting in less than 20 minutes, please. I don't know, we can go very fast. We will quickly take some response from the program here. We have the postgraduate student leader of UNICA and that of Unicross. I don't know if you people are here. Is Obedience here, the postgraduate student leader of UNICA? Please, just 3 minutes, straight to the points. Mrs. Deborah, then we'll come back to you, please. Okay, very fast. We can't hear you.
Get you, please. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you are supposed to make a comment, maybe from your angle as the postgraduate student leader from University of Calabar.
Okay.
Just within 2 minutes, please.
Okay, I'm the postgraduate president from Unicross. Yes, my name is Grace Ewelu. I first of all want to say good afternoon to you all. I want to express my profound gratitude to Cross River State Diaspora for organizing today's enlightening meeting on foreign scholarship opportunity. Thank you so much, Prof. And Dr. Bison. God bless you all.
Thank you so much for the brevity. We are glad, and your efforts so far, the potential scholarship applicants together. So we'll get in touch with you for further discussion and information. So that of Unical, I don't know if you are here, the postgraduate student. Is he still here? He was here. I don't know if he's still here. I can't see him. Okay, we just move forward without wasting for that time. Okay, we'll take a very brief remarks from the essay to the Governor of Students Affairs, Mr. Kevin Inyam. Please, quickly to your points. Kevin, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, please, very brief, please.
Sincerely, adopting the existing protocol, the president and every other person here, the secretary, Professor Mori, the CRID Education Committee, the moderator, Manuel Bison. We want to really appreciate you on behalf of government for what you're doing. Take note of this, and really appreciate in Cross River State precisely taking the people of Cross River State and opening the channels for opportunities. We believe this is going to go a long way in ensuring that our people are engaged, our people have opportunities internationally, cross-border opportunities, and we appreciate you. We look forward to more of this, and we believe that we will be there to support you anytime, at anywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And then, can you quickly tell the people who are here about the summit that is coming up very fast, please?
All right. Basically, it is to further know more about with the government of Cross River State in the coming days, precisely on the 19th of next month, which is November. The arrival is 18th, 19th is the summit date for what we call Cross River Student Entrepreneurship, Employability and Mentorship Summit. We'll be having live Professor Mori speaking to us, the president will be talking, and a couple of other well-meaning Cross-Riverians and non-Cross-Riverian speakers, leaders of industries and experts who will be live at the Metropolitan Hotel, Calabar. And so we want you to take that time out. There are several diverse of skills you can take advantage of while preparing for international opportunities. So come prepare. This could be part of your skills, part of building your skills and building your CVs. And so come take that opportunity and be part of that program. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think, like you said, if there's a way, we can also look for a way to create something out of it for the attendees so that they could boost their CV, maybe certificate of attendance or something like that. It will speak well. Now we are talking about building CVs. So there's need we start creating stuff like that and give to our people so that their CV will speak for themselves whenever they are applying for opportunities. Thank you so much for what you are doing, Essay. So quickly, we move to before vote of thanks by the president of CRID. I will quickly recognize the vice president of CRID to say something in 2 minutes. After that, Dr. Justin Ndie will say something for 2 minutes. Then we go to the president, and thereafter we close. Vice President, Mrs. Patience Ode.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much to the organizers of this program, Mr. Manuel Bison and Prof. Mori. It's been a very wonderful one. The panelists have spoken excellently well. I just want to add to what they have said. I'm also a benefactor of various scholarship programs, having schooled in South Korea scholarship and also in China scholarship. I just want to encourage everyone here to be very open-minded. sometimes you notice that some people want to go to the European countries, want to go to the American countries. But then you find that a lot of scholarships are actually coming out from the Asian countries as well. Like the Indians, the South Koreans, the Chinese, they have lots and lots of scholarship. Some of them are government tailored. So for the government scholarship, we have for the Chinese, we have what we call MOFCOM, that's Ministry of Commerce scholarship. That one is done between government of Nigeria and the government of China. But the good thing about this scholarship is that if you have if you're working with any government agencies, or you work with an NGO that is being recognized by the government, you can actually be a benefactor of that. You can be a beneficiary of that scholarship. And the same goes with the Chinese government scholarship. If you just Google up their website, you see lots and lots of scholarship. And like one of the speakers stated earlier, you can as well decide to explore. I didn't have a background in social care when I went to do my scholarship in Korea. I had a background in international relations and personnel management, but I ended up doing a scholarship in international development cooperation, focusing on women and development. And that led me to my second scholarship with Chinese government, which was on social work. And eventually, I have now settled in my career as a social worker based on the experiences I've gotten in that area of social care. So you can actually decide to explore. And if you see any opportunity that you feel, oh, I can do it, why not go ahead? Make use of the opportunity. That's the then another thing is that okay, so I think I basically touched everything. Okay, another thing is volunteering. When I got the first scholarship, I was volunteering for an NGO there in Nigeria. I wasn't working for any government agency. But because that NGO was recognized by Nigerian government, I got that scholarship. So volunteering is a very important skill. It's a life skill, permit me to say that will benefit you anywhere you find yourself. One of the speakers mentioned that. So try and get yourself volunteering. Through volunteering, you can get a lot of jobs with international organizations, with government, with any agency, and as well as scholarship, like it has already been mentioned. So that's basically what I want to say for now. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much for your comment. And quickly, Dr. Justin Undie, please, 2 minutes so that we can join another meeting. The president has to say something before I go. Dr. Justin Undie, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. And good morning. I think it's morning from our side. I've just come to visit Mr. President, so I'm in his house right away, right now. So, I mean, this is very, very sweet, very, very key program you have organized. So thank you, Prof, all of you, the attendees, Austin. What I wanted to say, there won't be time, so I will just have to leave it until another time, because it's something that maybe will take more than 5 minutes, and you have given me only 2, and I want to respect that. But I want to congratulate everyone. My master's was funded by PTDF, my PhD was funded by PTDF, and I discovered the problem PTDF was supposed to solve in the country, which was about local content development for the oil and gas sector. So I did a master's in oil and gas management. And towards the end, I discovered that there was a problem facing the oil and gas sector, that was climate change. So my PhD was how to protect oil and gas infrastructure from climate change impacts in the Niger Delta. And I finished that. My supervisor said, this your study is going to be a Pan-African consultancy. Today, I'm a consultant in climate change adaptation. I will talk about that somewhere else, so that if you are formulating your methodology, you know you are going to solve a problem. I think Prof mentioned that here. Discover a problem, solve it, and let that problem make you in life. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Justin Undie. Happy to see you again. Finally, we go to the president so that I will not be removed from my position. President, sir, over to you.
Thank you so much. Nobody has capacity to remove you. First, let me acknowledge the vice president of our organization, Madam Patient Ode, and very distinguished members of CRID. respect to a member of the board of directors, Dr. Justin Udie, who arrived from United Kingdom to the United States this morning. I had to join late because I had to go to the airport to pick him. He's on vacation here in Atlanta, US. Let me also thank Professor Wilfred Amori, Dr. Aka, and then our sister Deborah Edem. Deborah Edem, are you still with the Army?
Yes, but I'm no longer active duty. I'm on reserve right now, but I work with the Department of Veteran Affairs right now. So I'm still in service.
All right, I had to ask because I want to say thanks for your service to the United States.
Thank you.
So, and also let me also thank our friends who have been very informative in this session. We have Ernest and a whole lot of leaders from the University of Calabar and CRID. To all of you who are participating across the globe, I'd like to thank all of you. And to say that for us as cross Riverians in the Diaspora organization, we are very excited that we are able to put a program of this magnitude to share our experiences and allow very resource persons who have expertise in this area to speak to all of us. I am Christopher Lecan. I'm from Boki local government area of Cross River State. Currently the president of Cross River State Citizens in the Diaspora. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I also work in the university. I work at the Georgia Institute of Technology. That's a public research university here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in the Department of Environmental Health and Safety because that is what I studied here in America. But in Nigeria, I studied economics. So Professor Wilfred and Mr. Emmanuel Bisson, on behalf of CRID, I would like to express our gratitude to both of you for putting together a very wonderful, informative, well-organized program. And to our resource persons who have shared their experiences and provided guidance to our people, I'd like to thank all of you to say this is a clarion call. What we are doing, we are providing a pathway for the people of Cross River State. The benefits of what we are doing is not far-fetched. In the long run, we will see that a lot of people who have participated here today will put into use the experiences and what they have learned. And all that will help them, in preparing their vision for their next journey, either for the master's program or for the PhD. To all of you who participated, those of you who are interested in master's and PhD, I'd like to assure you that we are not stopping here. We will continue to partner with all of you. Our goal is to see that you all succeed. So consider that we are in a partnership. Those of us in the diaspora who live in civilized societies, who have advantage of what is happening in the West and Europe and Asia, we are in a partnership with all of you to see that we also provide that same knowledge, that same skill, and that same opportunity to all of you. We are now hoping that all of you will eventually leave Cross River State and go and live in the diaspora. We are hoping that if you have this opportunity, you go to the diaspora and you acquire all this knowledge. We expect that we all return back home, Cross River, and develop our state. Because if we go to the diaspora, acquire all this knowledge, and we remain in the diaspora without bringing it back home for posterity and the new generation, we will not have done ourselves good justice. So I'd like to appeal to you that let's have that in mind as we continue this process. We have 5 more minutes to get to the end. I would like to round up by, again, extending the appreciation of the organization entirely to the resource persons who took out time to be here. If I have not mentioned your name, it might just be an omission, but I recognize all of you who are resource persons in this session, and also the coordinator, Professor Wilfred Mori, and Emmanuel Bisson. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you so much, our able and capacity president of Riverians in the Diaspora organization. We really appreciate what you are doing, and your ESCO members and all the active people in the group. So please, without them wasting time, we move straight to closing prayer. Today we had 45 people in attendance. I am pretty sure we would have been more if not for the what happened. I think it has taught us a big lesson. Next time, maybe we will not share to Facebook anymore. So for those who could not get the second link to join, we'll share the video and then to the platform. Many people have on the chat, they have asked for contacts of various panelists and other people. Please endeavor to join the platform. Every information, every contact you'll be able to get on the platform. Please. Great, Iwelu has shared the link. Just go there, click and join the scholarship community. All the information, the opportunities will be shared there. So going forward, we are going to develop a plan for what next. So you will get the information on the platform. This is just the first meeting. We'll keep you posted on what next, and after putting 1 or 2 things in order and then communicating the ESCO members, then we'll share the update with you guys and then how to move forward. Thank you very much, and we deeply appreciate all you have done. Finally, we go to closing prayer. Is the SVG president of UNICAS here, Blessing Ali. She was here. You were supposed to lead in closing prayer. Are you still here? Okay, we can't find us. Pray in Jesus' name. Father, we pray that going forward, you give us more ideas and insight on how to pilot this affair for the betterment of our people and the growth of our state, Cross River State. All this we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. Bye-bye and see you next time.
Nice time. A very quality one. Thank you so much.